All right, thank you. Looks like we got a full crowd tonight. At this time, I would like to excuse Erin Marquardt, who is on midwinter break as a teacher, so she's enjoying her time. Um, our first item here is approval agenda. The administration recommends that the board of directors approve the February 19th, 2025 board meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, for one of our events tonight is the appointment of a new school board director. Appointment of school board director for the unexpired term for the director of District Number 2. Do I have a motion for that?
I nominate Tom Watson for the school board position number 2.
And a second?
I second.
Any discussion? No, all right. Seeing none, Erin did leave us a statement that she would like us to read on her behalf. And so her statement is, I wanted to express my deep appreciation for those who applied for the open director seat. Being involved in policy and decision-making in our amazing community takes time, dedication, and a service above self mentality. And I'm grateful for the 3 candidates willing to take on this role. While I can't be there this evening, I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you, Tom, to the school board. I look forward to working with you on behalf of all children. All right, so we will vote by a roll call.
Sorry. We'll do roll call vote right now for the appointment of Tom Watson to school board director for District Number 2. If you hear your name, please respond with either yes or no. Kevin Lewis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Bill Gaines, how do you vote?
Yes.
JB Smith, how do you vote?
Yes.
So the vote to select Tom Watson as school board director for District Number 2 passes with a unanimous vote.
And as Tom's first duty, he gets to be sworn in.
So it is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Judge Alicia Burton of the Pierce County Superior Court, proud Sumner High School alumni and proud parent of Sumner-Bonney Lake students, to swear in our new director. Judge Burton.
Thank you. Congratulations. I usually wear a robe. I walked out of my office without it, so you just get me in plain clothes, but raise your right hand. All right. I, Tom Watson, do hereby solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Washington, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Director of Sumner-Bonney Lake School District, number 320, Pierce County, to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tom, before you take your seat. Yeah. Congratulations. All right. And now we'll get down to business. Yeah, let's get started. So first on the agenda is consent items. The administration recommends that the board of directors approve the consent agenda items for the February 19th, 2025 board meeting. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All right, first official duty. All right, thank you. Any discussion?
Actually, just thank you for my See, Tom, I learned. Thank you. I want to thank the two groups for the donations. Or three, excuse me, three of the donations. Very much appreciated by all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, very generous. Emerald Hills PTA, Seattle Seahawks Charitable Foundation, and Sumner Education Association donating some really good funds to the district, and is much appreciated. So, seeing as that is all our discussion, Tom, did you have anything you wanted to add, or good to go? Okay, all right. So, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, motion passes. We did have some greeters at the door today. If I could put them on the spot, I'd love to do that. If you'd like to come up front, thank you for being here. Appreciate you greeting all our guests as they came in. And we're kind of hoping to hear who you are and what's going on with you this year.
Hi. Is this on? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Zoe Martinson. I am a senior and I'm a part of my Sumner High School cheer team. I'm also part of the ASB and a part of National Honor Society.
My name is Ellie Nathy. I'm a senior at Sumner High School as well. I was a part of the Sumner girls soccer team, and I am a part of National Honor Society at the school.
So, well, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah.
And I will turn it over to Dr. Dent for a little more.
So we have a state champion with us tonight. Let's give it up for Jaden Thayer real quick. What you might not realize is Jaden is a state champion bowler. And I mean, I actually got to watch her bowl, and it's impressive. If like I could only be your age again, maybe I could bowl that way, but probably not. But Jaden, it's been really fun just getting to know you, and your parents are here in the back. Give a little wave, because they make bowling happen for you. But Mr. Clark, yeah, talk to us about Jaden. What's going on with her?
Well, she scored more points in the state tournament than I've ever scored in my life. Not points, pins. I called it points. That shows you how bad I am. So I do have a little bit of information about Jaden that I want to show off. Jaden's a sophomore at Bonnie Lake High School, but her first year, the very first year we had bowling in high school, Jaden helped the team compete at the Pierce County Junior League, or Pierce County League at the 3A level. She helped the team compete and earn their way to the PCL League tournament and the West Central District tournament. At the state tournament, at the 3A state tournament, she battled all 6 games of the tournament and scored 1,164 points, or pins. Gosh. Oh man, I gotta be careful. She throws really heavy balls. But she finished at third place in state as a freshman, which is super good. This year, Jaden helped the team advance to the 4A state tournament. At the tournament, Jaden started out great. She was tied for 7th after the first game. Halfway through the tournament, she was in 2nd place, trailing by 27 pins. After 5 games, with only 1 game remaining, Jaden had climbed into 1st place, leading by 2 pins. And she was only 9 pins ahead of the 3rd place person. So it was a really close tournament. In the 6th game, with the pressure on, Jaden bowled her 2nd best game of the tournament of the day, hitting 222 pins. She not only held on to 1st place, but extended her lead, winning by 23 pins. She finished the tournament hitting 1,232 pins, and is a state champion for. A side note, last year, the 3A state champion was from Spanaway Lake, and she took 1st while Jaden took 3rd. This year, both schools moved up to 4A. Jaden took 1st, and Spanaway Lake took 3rd. Yes, that's fast. So teal and black was very well represented, right? Absolutely. And then one other thing is Jaden will be bowling in Green Bay in July at the Junior Gold Tournament. Is that what it's called? It's a pretty big national level tournament. So she's competing all over the place. Her goal is to go, hopefully, to Arkansas State, where she wants to be a future educator. Yeah. Woo-hoo. She's pretty shy. I don't know if I want to put her on the spot, but
Oh,
do you guys have any
yeah,
questions?
I mean, she knows how to talk in front of a camera. So
Go.
yeah, let's, Jaden.
All right, you got this.
Yeah. And she was recognized last week at the Tacoma Athletic Commission, where again, just her talent and ability was, I mean, it was just, it's always so impressive. But when she was recognized in front of that group, it was great. Very special.
I want to thank you to the school district for having bowling, and giving me this opportunity. That's really all I have.
Hey, mom and dad, you want to come up front for a picture? No. Yeah. Here they come. There we go. Yeah, yeah, let's start. We can start.
Kind of stand now.
Go down there.
Congratulations, Jaden. All right. And at this time, superintendent comments?
Yeah, so we have two other special recognitions tonight. You know that we have two people retiring from our cabinet level, and we'll never replace them because they are exceptional, incredible people who still have about 6 months of work left to do. But one of those people retiring is Beth Dykeman, and her replacement, the person that's stepping in after her, will be Ellie McDaniel. And Kelly Din is here to recognize and honor Ellie as she makes this transition. And you just have to give it up for the elementary people that are here tonight.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, these are our people. Like,
Yeah.
I love elementary people and secondary, but you know, elementary, like just a special place, right? Like, yay.
So it is truly my honor to introduce Ellie McDaniel as our new executive director of elementary. It's unbelievable that she's standing here and going to be taking this role. I mean, I've known Ellie for a while, and she is just a phenomenal leader. So if you don't know Ellie, she's been in the district for about 27 years. She started her journey at Liberty Ridge Elementary as a teacher, teaching third, fourth, fifth, and she was a lab coordinator. We did steal her here at central office for 2 years working in the elementary, over in elementary education. And then after that, she's been a phenomenal principal over at Maple Lawn Elementary. So not only is Ellie an employee here, she also is a proud parent. She's had 2 beautiful daughters graduate from Sumner High School, and then her youngest is there right now as a freshman. So overall, to do the hard work in instructional services, you need somebody who's an instructional leader. And when I look at Ellie, I can't imagine anybody else stepping in to fill that role. I mean, Ellie, her heart, she's a servant leader. I think about all those capacities we want in both a leader and a teammate, and Ellie has them all. She's compassionate, she's kind, she's humble, she's hardworking. It's all of those things. So I couldn't be more proud and more excited to have her standing next to me, and I just welcome her here to the instructional services team, and I just can't wait to see her vision for elementary education come into action. So welcome, Ellie.
I feel like that was a long time ago because I look a lot younger. Yeah, so I have had 27 incredible years in this district. Got hired here as a teacher, and here I still am, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So the last 8 years as a building principal, and all my friends are out there. I just love all of you. So because of those incredible years, I'm so humbled and just so excited to be able to move into this role. I have big shoes to fill with Beth, but we've worked together for a long time. You know, I truly feel like I bring so many memories and experiences, lessons learned, and a lot of great relationships that will help guide me in the work that I do for not just the Maple Lawn Huskies or the Liberty Ridge Thunder Eagles, but all of our kids in the district. So I'm super excited for this next journey in my life. So thank you.
The second big announcement we have, talk about a warrior. Where's Karen Finnegan? I'm telling you, Karen, you work so hard and with such a humble spirit, and you fight for kids every day. And I am so proud to work alongside you and watch you in action. It's beyond impressive. So there is no replacing you. But we also are introducing someone who is a champion. And when I was talking to Jane, I said, our most vulnerable, marginalized students need the biggest champion. And she was like, oh, now you're going to make me cry. I'm like, don't cry. They need you. And we're just excited to introduce Jane Toyson as our new Executive Director of Special Services. There you go, Joe. Good job, girl.
You get that introduction every day you come to work. Every day you come in, and that's the way it is. So it is my pleasure to introduce Jane Toyson as the next Executive Director of Special Services. You may know her as the amazing and inimitable principal of Daffodil Valley, where she is an absolute warrior for all kids, including my own niece and nephew, who are super mad at me right now. He'll get over it. He'll be fine. Where she has served for 9 years and just done amazing work. What you may not know is she also was the principal of Victor Falls Elementary. Before that, she was a leader in Shoreline School District, a teacher there. She also worked for the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction as a school improvement coach. So over her 32 years of education, vintage, she just brings an absolute wealth of experience, and she has walked her commitment to all students, including those who are among our most vulnerable and are most in need. And she just has our heart, and we are so excited. She is joining a rock star team in special services, and she is up to the task. And you don't replace a Karen Finnegan, but you do get someone to follow in those footsteps and continue the amazing work. So please join me in welcoming the amazing Jane Toyson as the next executive director.
All right. What an honor. And one thing you probably will learn about me is that I'm really passionate, and sometimes that results in emotions, the tears of excitement and passion. This is a huge honor. I am so honored to get to do this work on behalf of the students, the families, and the staff in our district. It feels like a big call, and one that I'm completely committed to answering and filling in some really big shoes. But I'm looking forward to the journey. I'm thankful for the faith that you have in my leadership. And man, I give it my all every day for kids, and I intend to do nothing less in this position. So thank you very much. I look forward to this journey.
Well, congratulations again to Jaden. Congratulations to Ellie and Jane, and of course, Beth and Karen. Uh, really no words. Really going to be missed, but your retirement obviously is well deserved. So thank you for your service. All right. Right at this time, we will do board member comments. We'll give Tom a break and we'll start down here with Bill so he can think about what you maybe want to say when you get to the end. But Bill, take it away.
Oh, thank you. I know my colleagues are going to speak about a very special visit we did up at Donald Eisman just a couple weeks ago and that. So I chose another route to go today. And before I begin, I want to knock on some wood because Lori Dent's going to get really nervous as I go into this. Yep. I want to take a moment to, I wrote this because there's a lot of names and I didn't want to forget anybody. Um, Take a moment to recognize a very special group who spring into action before daybreak when we have our winter weather events. Led by David Cutts, the Sumner-Bonney Lake Blizzard Brigade jumps into action when we have ice, snow, other inclement weather that we get this time of the year in the driveways, sidewalks, buildings that need special needs and such. It was not that long ago. I remember sitting or standing out in the snow with a very happy, maybe not, Dr. Dent, because I think we're in our third day of not being able to open schools because we literally could not get to them. And we met out at Mountain View, I believe, and we saw this one poor gentleman from M&O hunched over on the littlest tractor I've ever seen with a bucket almost the size of a regular shovel. Everybody else was digging away, but this gentleman, I think, had been there about 8 hours, Dave, on it. And if we're lucky, we might get one driveway cleared in that 8 hours, and they were working overtime at that time. So thanks to the vision, research, and thoughtfulness and budget planning by David back there, David Cutts, and our business department, we've now have a number of sanders, plows, dump trucks fitted with plows, all sorts of new fun equipment, even big spreaders that I got to use here at the central office. Liking that. I want to give a shout out to the building custodians who get there exceptionally early to make sure the boilers are working, make sure the sidewalks are attended to, and it's a safe environment for everybody in the building. At the M&O level, I want to thank these folks for the training they go through, the effort they put forth when our Arctic weather descends upon us. On the sanding and plowing teams, we have Sean Ryder, the poor gentleman that was stuck on the littlest tractor known to mankind, Dave Richards, Donnie Bowen, Stephen Vance, Felix McCullough, Guy Thomas, and Nicholas Simmons. They take care of the sanding and moving as much snow as humanly possible. The only time I've seen snow move any more or quicker was when Dr. Dent somehow got a hold of a whole lot of contractors in the area that were building, redoing some of our buildings for us. And amazingly, they got a lot out, but they also had really big equipment at that time. We also have a group of gentlemen who, I mean, this is in addition to what they normally do, who respond to frozen pipes. Any principals out there who've experienced that? It's a fun time had by all. Sidewalk support, heating, freezing locks, all the things that can go along with these weather conditions. Chris Biller, Mike Anderson, George Powell, Doug Dodson, and Mike Madden. Thank you, Dave, for your leadership. When Dave came in, he inherited the littlest tractor, so that we can't blame that one on him. And thank all the M&O team for all their great work and efforts during these weather events we have.
So thank you, Bill. Yeah.
I think that Bill and I were on the same wavelength because we knew multiple of us had gone to visit Donald Eisman Elementary, and so I thought, oh, I'll leave that to my other board members to talk about. So, Kevin, are you going to talk about it?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I have a couple. Otherwise, I would gush forever. But I have a couple of other things I just wanted to say. And the first thing I wanted to say is I want to thank so many of the schools and students and staff that have really acknowledged, I guess, Board Appreciation Week, whatever. We had kind of a long study session last week, and we came out and we had boxes full of goodies, chocolates, notes, poems, all kinds of wonderful things. Mr. Clark, I'm very excited. I got my very first Bonney Lake High School swag, so I'm really excited about that. Spartan in me has little issues, but I will wear it with pride. So, the other thing that I wanted to say thank you. It meant a lot, and I think it lifted all of us after a hard day. So, I also wanted to say that I have had, I caught somebody, they don't know I'm going to talk about this, but I caught somebody living up to the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District promise. So our promise is to, value, and support every student. And I have a friend whose son is a student at Victor Falls Elementary, and he has struggled a little bit. And they've done a lot of work with him, and they made some changes, and it's been a long road for a couple of years. And they made some changes recently, and he made huge strides in a test that he had taken. And not only did his teacher reach out to the parents, she let him speak to the parents about how good he had done and how proud he was of the work he'd done. But also the principal, Mr. Euler, reached out to the parents. So here's one student in their school. Not only does the teacher know and value what that student's doing, but so does the principal and staff. And it really meant a lot to them. And I thought this is a little peek into what's happening, I know, in all of our schools that I had, and I wanted to share that. Let's see. I also had the opportunity to, I took a training recently. WASDA offers training sometimes, so it was like a 3-hour online training, and it was on deciphering the budget. So by no means am I an expert in it, but they did a very good job. It was really helpful. It gave a nice overview of what goes into the budget, how it's put together. We got some more information on the codes, the revenue sources, how they fit with the funds. I think the best thing that will come out of it is that when I talk to Brian, I might be able to ask a more educated question. There are lots of, just like I hold on to my acronym list, I will hold on to my code list and all of that. But it was well done, and I think I hopefully will be useful, so I won't bother him with unnecessary questions with that information. And I think that's all I have for today. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Tom, would you like to have your first
Sure.
board member comments?
Thank you. I would like to thank all of you who supported me. I'm looking forward to what I can do to help you in the rest of this year, make things happen for the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District. And Dr. Dent, thank you so much for all your support and to help me guide my way, what I need to do, where are my few first steps going on. I'm looking forward not just walking, but running to helping all of you and making changes in what we want to do together. And this gathering here tonight, in recognition of all these people and what they've done for the school district, is amazing. I've never seen this before amongst, and I call them associates, but in the school district, what they've accomplished and where they're going. So this is very remarkable. And before I forget, it's one important person, is Justin Evans in the audience. He was very beneficial to me and answered my questions, helped me fill out paperwork I need to fill out, and get into where I am today here. So thank you, Justin, for all you've done for me. I appreciate it very much.
All right. Well, yeah, then I'll talk about Daffodil Valley or Donald Eisman. We won't go to it. All right. So Donald Eisen Elementary welcomed the board for a recent visit. And the focus of the visit was to see kind of the new style of how we engage with multi-language learners. So Donald Eisman has 18 different languages spoken by the students there, predominantly Spanish, Ukrainian, and Romanian. Okay, thank you. And it was just amazing. So we got to see two different things. We saw some fifth graders in a breakout session working on structure and how to put certain nouns and classes together. And when we walked away and we did a debrief on that, is that the first comment I said was, you know, their English is very good. And what I was educated on was, yeah, their social English, their playground English is really strong. But when it comes down to the structure that they need to go to the next level, when they get to middle school and high school, like this is what they need to be working on. So there was a group of students that were there doing that. One of the students spoke 4 languages already, and she was amazing. And then what we also saw was in action in a classroom with some certain programs, their acronyms, so I won't bother you with them. But what it was the students they were kept in the classroom. So instead of being taken out and separated from their peers, they were kept in the classroom, and the lessons that were being taught around English, around multilanguage, weren't even obvious to me when I first saw them. So they purposely didn't tell us what we were going to see. We just came into the classroom and observed, and then we went to the debrief. I said, what did I see? I saw a classroom. It seemed pretty normal. And then once they started pointing out the things that they were doing inside the classroom to help the English language learners while also helping every student in the class, and then it started clicking, and all of a sudden I saw 50 different things that the teacher was doing. You know, for instance, the teacher would ask the students to think of an answer in their head, and then she would say, okay, tell it to the window. Okay, tell your answer to the ceiling. And it was like, oh, they're teaching the word ceiling. They're teaching the word window to these multilanguage learners. Meanwhile, all the other students are just excited to yell at the window and, or yell at the ceiling. And they don't know that, that they are also, by what they're doing when they look up, their other students who are learning that language can look to them and see where they're looking and go, oh, that's the ceiling. So I was just blown away at how subtle the embedment was, and it was really impressive that they stayed in the class. I think that's a big deal. We often in the past, I think, would give them more attention and bring them out, but being in the classroom really made them feel like part of the group. They didn't feel othered, and they didn't feel separated or called out for being different and learning a new language. Which when they're done learning English, they'll be multiple language learners. They'll speak English and whatever other languages, like that one student who spoke 4 different languages. So my point is, very impressive to see it embedded, and just impressive the work, the support that the staff at Donald Eisman is giving, and then the support that Donald Eisman and other schools are getting from the administration. So it was really impressive. Really, really impressive. Did I get it? Okay.
I was going to say, we got these keychains from them, and all the different colors, and I know it's tiny, but all the different colors represent the different languages that are spoke just at Donald Eisman.
Yeah.
So it was really neat. I love it. I got it. I use it. So
Yeah, it was truly impressive. So appreciate the staff. And you said Bobby's here?
Yeah, Bobby and Sarah are both here.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Appreciate the support you give to your staff and everything to make that happen. So thank you very much.
the one other thing I want to say is it was really neat to see the enthusiasm of the 2 teachers that we got to watch, not only for what they did in their classroom, but for also extending that to their peers within the school, and to take some of that on themselves to do that, because they recognize the importance of expanding their capacity. And so they are creating an environment where people want to be learning more and have the opportunity to do that. And they're doing that on their own. So it's just a really great environment that's there. And I was really impressed.
Yeah, definitely. Bill, anything I didn't get?
It was truly, as an ex-principal, it was, oh, sorry.
I gotcha.
As an ex-principal, it was really unbelievably exciting to watch, and all of the techniques they were using that are, quite frankly, are used all across the school in every classroom throughout the day, but with the emphasis and such was really great to see.
Yeah, even the support, we saw the one student, we didn't know which students were which, but later we realized that one of the students turned around to one of the multilanguage learners when they got something right, and she gave him a big thumbs up and said, good job. And so it was just impressive to see them all really working together and supporting each other. So yeah, great program. It's a great visit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we're excited to get you out and get out and see some of the schools and see what's going on. Yeah.
And I'll just say, one of the things too is how important those visits are, because, when we hear about the programs, I'm still new, so I hear about these programs, and it's hard for me to understand some, as I'm learning how they're applied, how they're actually, being used in the classroom with the students. And so to see it firsthand helps me when things come forward, that I'll have a better idea of what the teachers, what the, what we're talking about, what they need, how the support's there. So I think it's really, really valuable that we get to do those things. So thank you, Dr. Dent, for setting that up for us. Thank you for letting us come to your school. It was great.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is audience comments.
The board recognizes the value of public comment on education issues and the importance of involving members of the public in its meetings. Comments from the public are taken under board advisement and may or may not receive action at a future meeting. Topics including charges or complaints against employees, employment or dismissal of personnel, acquisition of real estate, lawyer-client relationships, campaigning, and parameters for negotiations should not be discussed in audience comments. Other information, questions, or problems can usually be addressed by district staff. The audience comment period will end when all registered speakers have been heard. We ask that everyone adhere and understand the following guidelines. In order to maintain respect for all points of view, the school board requests no clapping, booing, or any other form of support or non-support be used. The board will not respond to comments, but will take them under advisement. Speakers should be courteous and professional. Refrain from using profanity, vulgar language, threatening, or defamatory comments. As a reminder, individuals are not permitted to name a specific staff member, board member, or student during public comments. Failure to do so may result in the board president or designee interrupting or ending the comment. Please remember that your words have impact, and you, not the school district, are responsible for your words. We caution all speakers that it is possible that your statements could violate the rights of others under various laws, including laws protecting privacy and laws prohibiting defamation. If you're unsure of the legal effect of your remarks, please seek independent legal advice. In any case, we ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. Speakers registered by noon yesterday will be heard. When your name is called, please come up to the podium and state your name. Please address comments to the school board as a whole. You will have 3 minutes to speak and may not cede or give your time to another speaker. I will signal you with the bell when you have 1 minute remaining. Our first audience comment this evening is Balvina Cortez.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Balbina Cortez, and this is Sophia. She is my reason why I stood here in many places, crying, upset, asking everyone, somebody help me, my kid can't read, my kid can't write, somebody, anybody. Well, today I'm standing here on a positive note, and that is to thank the staff at Donald Eisman and at district that have stepped up and are my daughter's advocate. It doesn't matter how we arrived. What matters to me is that my daughter not only made tremendous academic growth, she went from the lower 10% to the 50th in Ames web testing in 8 months. She's happy. She is happy and she looks forward to going to school every day. I want to point out that I sat in many IEP meetings, K through second, and we couldn't move past the teacher monitored progress. This morning, I sat in my niece's IEP, and I was happy to see measurable data, percentages, scores, actionable items that her parents can easily understand. I've been told that this board has an interest to understand dyslexia, and my hope is that Sumner-Bonney Lake School District is a leader. I'd like to quote something that a great dyslexia advocate that I admire stated, and it reads, "The proverbial literacy house in Washington State is on fire, and despite tremendous and ongoing efforts, we have not been successful in developing a sense of urgency and leadership from the governor's office with decision makers at OSPI, leaders at Washington Education Association, and educator preparation. In educator preparation. At ESD and district levels, we have growing number of educators we sought training grounded in science of reading and who have evolved their instructional practices. This is important, but systems change doesn't take a hold across 295 districts without leadership. We need urgency. We need Sumner-Bonney Lake to lead the way in Washington. Unfortunately, not all children are getting the same help, and I have examples, but I ran out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next audience comment is Leilani Howland.
I'm just going to speed through this. I'm super nervous. I just wanted to say good evening, board members, superintendent, and community members. My name is Leilani Howland, and my family is new to the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District this year. When moving to this area, we intentionally chose the school we're at, and we intentionally chose this district for our children's education, and we will soon have 4 in this district. Next school year, as I said, we'll have 4. A preschooler joins her 2 older siblings at Liberty Ridge, and we just want to make sure that all students in our community receive equitable investments in their learning environments. And I do know this is a district decision, which is why I'm here. And I just wanted to say I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys tonight. It is in regards to Proposition 1 and some of the disparities in the funding allocation among districts' schools, more specifically the scope of investments and improvements planned for Liberty Ridge compared to other schools receiving upgrades. I'm going to cut to the chase because I'm going to run out of time here. So I did want to acknowledge that I know overcrowding is a real issue, and it absolutely makes sense that expansion is a priority where needed. I also wanted to be clear that I'm speaking tonight after reading through the initiatives and the funding breakdown that's available on the district website. So if there's something I'm missing, I am happy to be corrected or given additional context for that. So Proposition 1 includes funding for 5 elementary schools: Crestwood, Daffodil Valley, Donald Eisman, Liberty Ridge, and Tahali Heights. When you compare the types of improvements at each school, it's really clear that Liberty Ridge is not receiving the same level of investment in outdoor and student-centered spaces as other schools. Just to note a few: Donald Eisman, which was built in 2010, some of their improvements include a new synthetic turf field lighting, and the same applies to Daffodil Valley as well. Liberty Ridge is the oldest school in our district, oldest elementary school, built in 1993, and those improvements are not centered towards spaces that are outdoor that would be beneficial to our children. They continue to play on uneven, deteriorating field that poses safety hazards. Children, my own included, frequently trip and fall due to divots and unsafe spaces. So my questions to the board would be: how are these funding allocations determined? Why are some elementary schools receiving new multi-use turf fields while Liberty Ridge is not? What data was used to justify these allocations? And can the district provide a clear explanation for why Liberty Ridge's improvements are not addressing outdoor spaces for students? Did the advisory committee specifically review the outdoor conditions of each school? And if so, what was the assessment of Liberty Ridge's current field? What is the district's plan to make sure that Liberty Ridge students have a safe and equitable outdoor play environment comparable to what students in other schools in the district are receiving? So I would just urge the district possibly give a transparent overview of this funding decision. I thank you for your time. I'm done.
Thank you. Our next audience comment this evening is Terry McCoy.
Good evening, Superintendent and school board directors. My name is Terry McCoy. Thank you. And I want to thank JB Smith for representing me in District 1. And I want to thank you, the members of the board, for participating in the political system we refer to as school. Over the past year or two, I've had a growing curiosity about the high volume of policies passed in our district. It's gone from curiosity to concern. I have no idea how you guys handle, you men and women, handle the workload of knowing, tracking, and implementing, improving on, or any other array of responsibilities when it comes to policy making. And how many policies do you actually not pass? If you were asked what criteria you use in passing a policy or not, I truly wonder what your answer would be. Would your answer reflect the values, ideology, and intentions of WASDA or some NGO? Would your answer reflect the values, ideology, and plans of the parents within the specific district that you serve? I also understand your aim in policy planning takes into consideration businesses, churches, and other community organizations. Then there's the legislature, along with RCWs and WACs. In all fairness, though, I attend enough study sessions and board meetings to know our district is serious about tracking success, but I'm also learning to ask, what is the end game? For example, in policies promoting SEL, I'd venture to say the end game is different depending on how, when, why, where, and in what ways you think parents fit in. Are they at the center of influence and authority with responsibility, or is the curriculum, the classroom teacher, followed by the class as a whole, then the school principal, then the district as a whole, then the parent? A few months ago, Kevin was kind enough to give me a big picture overview regarding district policy making and policies, but I am sure I am in need of review, Kevin. I participated in a roundtable Zoom meeting last night with people from both sides of the state, discussing the ideas of parents being able to opt their child in on a class instead of a parent opting out their child of a class. It was insightful and a popular topic among the panel and participants. I'm sure the conversations will continue. I hope to keep learning about the pros and cons of parental opt-in policy for certain classes with anyone who wants to talk about it, including our own board and superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our audience comments for this evening.
All right, on to some business matters. First one is resolution number 1124-25, State Bond Guarantee Program. This resolution authorizes the district to request participation in the Washington State School District Credit Enhancement Program, Guarantee Program, for the potential refunding of the district's 2014 and 2015 bonds. Under the guarantee program, the state will guarantee the payment of the district's refunding bonds, increasing the credit rating of the bonds and resulting in lower interest costs. This resolution was presented to the board on February 12th for first reading. It is recommended by the administration that the board adopt resolution number 1124-25, State Bond Guarantee Program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. For those that weren't able to watch our last study session, as part of the passing of the bond, the board has to authorize the actual steps to go out and start the process of collecting the funds so we can put shovels in the ground. And so what this particular resolution has to do with a previous bond, that while we're doing the new bond, we have the opportunity to look at refinancing an old bond and save some money. So that's what this is. And without any other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, next thing on the list is resolution number 1224-25, bond delegation. This resolution authorizes the district administration to approve the sale of a portion of the bonds that were approved by the district voters at the November 2024 election. This resolution also authorizes the sale of refunding bonds to refund the district's outstanding 2014 and 2015 bonds if a debt service savings can be achieved for the benefit of the district's taxpayers. Both bond authorizations are eligible for participation in the guarantee program. This resolution was presented to the board on February 12th for first reading, and it is the administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 1224-25, bond delegation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
I just want to highlight, as Kevin did, that the process only go forward on some of this if we're saving money for the members of our community.
All right, and so this will end up authorizing the first sale of bonds to get the funds and put the shovels in the ground. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right. For information only, the December budget status report. We'll check and make sure I got that right. Yep. Okay. For information only, December budget status report, the Chief Finance and District Operations Officer, Brian, provided a financial report for December to the board for information only. All right, and that brings us to our next business matter, which is instruction materials adoption. In accordance with policy 2020, course design, selection, and adoption for instructional materials, the following resources have been reviewed and approved by the District Curriculum and Instructional Materials Committee. Our first is introduced by Catherine Elliott, TOSA and Secondary IS submitted a recommendation for the following instruction materials to be used for high school world language Spanish 1, 2, 3. For adoption, first reading was at the January 15th board meeting, and it is the administration recommends the board adopt the following instruction materials for Spanish 1, 2, and 3. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, our second instructional, music play online. Darla, Director of Elementary Instructional Services, and Valerie, music teacher at Maple Lawn Elementary, submitted a recommendation for the following instructional materials to be used for elementary general music for adoption. The first reading was at the January 15th, 2025 board meeting, and it is the administration recommendation that the board adopt the following instruction materials for elementary general music. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
You a second?
Second.
So many discussion? Oh, you're awesome. Yeah, thank you for your help on this. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Next on the agenda is information only for policy matters in accordance with policy 1310, adoption and amendment of policies and bylaws. The following policies have been included for first reading. Board policies 2022, 2023, 5400, 6501, and also board procedures in accordance with policy 1310, adoption amendment of policies and bylaws. And the following policies have been included for information only: 2022P, 2022F, and 6501P. All right, that brings us to our first presentation. We have, yeah, Brian is here to give us a presentation, an update for the board of directors on the athletic department. Welcome, Brian.
Test. There we go. Thank you, Dr. Dent, Board of Directors, for providing an opportunity to give an athletic department update. So I will, hey, there it is. Thank you. So I'm going to start with the promise. Our promise, as you know, is to know, value, and support every student, helping them graduate ready to pursue a promising future. And, you know, the main thing is to get the kids across the stage and prepare them for life after high school. So athletics plays a key role in that. And so, you know, how athletics supports that, there's all kinds of bullet points here, but in essence, it's, you know, kids generally do better in school. You know, it provides a hook for kids to, you know, motivation to do better, and it provides a sense of community pride. And so those are kind of the three things I wanted to key on. Some goals from those is reduce the number of student athletes who do not meet standards. So another way to say that is get students meeting standards. And then increase the number of participants. So we want as many kids to participate as possible. And then also, once they're out there, make sure they're eligible to participate in interscholastic competition. So just a little brief snippet of athletic eligibility. In order to, you know, it's a privilege. We always tell our athletes and coaches that in order to be eligible, you have to have a 2.0 GPA and pass all classes, which is not a WA requirement. It's a Sumner-Bonney Lake School District requirement. So we go a little higher because we take the term student athlete seriously. You know, and then they have to complete all registration requirements and do a lot of things to make sure that they're eligible. And we have information on our website for those that want to dig in deeper on that. Some strategies, you know, we communicate eligibility requirements to our athletes and families, and we worked with the building athletic coordinators to create a document that kind of spells everything out. So there's no surprises. Everybody knows, you know, here are the requirements. Here's how we're going to do grade checks. And so that there's, you know, they know in advance, so they don't come at the last minute and realize they're not eligible. So we communicate via our final forms feature. That's our athletic registration tool. So that's a good way to get the information out to the community. And this is the percentage of students meeting eligibility. So you can see it's a high number. It's above between 97 and 98% over the last 3 years. So that's awesome that our kids are meeting those requirements, because that's one of our goals. So, and then as far as getting more kids to participate, you know, we offer a wide variety of programs in the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District. So high school, we're now a member of, both schools are now a member of the South Puget Sound League. And so these are the program offerings for each season. And you can see girls flag football is highlighted because that's something that Sumner took the initiative, Sumner High School, and added that as a club sport. And it was very successful this year. And so I'm maybe asking to add that for everybody. So we'll see this spring. So, and then middle school, you know, we have 4 seasons. Those are the program offerings for middle school. We're part of the Plateau League. And intramurals is bolded there because what we were finding, we added an intramural program because what we were finding is we had a lot of participants, but we not only wanted to have a lot of participants, we wanted to give them a quality experience. And what we were finding is so many kids that it was just chaos, and there was coaches were getting frustrated, and it was becoming a safety issue. So what we did is we worked with the principals and athletic coordinators and said, what can we do? And they said, How about an intramural program where we build skills for kids that aren't as advanced, because not all kids have the opportunity to play club sports and things like that. So we wanted to provide opportunities for all kids to build some skills and just to learn to love the game. And so that's been a really good addition this year, and it's improved our middle school programs. So progress, you can see we continue to increase the number of student participants for each year over the past 3 years. And just some other highlights, what's working well. You know, our student athletes continue to strive to succeed in the classroom and on the court. You know, cheer was the academic, Sumner cheer were the academic state champions this year with a team GPA of 3.778. Zoe was here a little earlier. She was one of the cheerleaders. So, and then Bonnie Lake girls soccer, 3.897. You know, some ask, well, why weren't they state champs? It's based on sport, so it just depends on what sport you're in. So even though they had a higher GPA, they weren't state champions. So, but we're proud of them, even if they're not state champions. So 17 teams earned the Outstanding Team Award, team GPA of 3.5 to 4, and then 5, 3.0 to 3.5. And then we always honor, we put out a list of all the qualifiers each season so that everybody knows the great things that our athletes student athletes are doing. Other things working well, you know, our student interest survey data is showing that we're offering equitable programs, you know, for both genders. You know, and also we have outstanding coaches and in addition to coaches, outstanding coaches and advisors, we have great athletic coordinators, building support staff, district support staff, trainers, event staff. So it takes a team of people to have a quality athletic program, and we have a great team of people. They all serve as role models and help fulfill our promise. Final Forms platform, again, that's our athletic registration tool. We're streamlines things, and it provides useful data. Some of the data for this presentation comes from that. And then, you know, high level of support, you know, from the board, Dr. Dent, all our communities, and then all the departments within our systems, you know, business office, transportation, HR. Again, it takes a team of people to have a quality program. And then, like I said, our middle school intramural model is allowing the student athletes to have a more positive experience. Some ongoing areas of focus, you know, we're always looking to refine our procedures and improve our infrastructure to support our growing programs. You know, we continue to monitor Final Forms and, you know, all aspects of the athletic clearance process, working with HR to streamline the hiring process and requirements, and then developing all positive relationships. That's always an ongoing thing. It doesn't just you know, it's fluid, it continues to happen. And exploring opportunities for meaningful professional development for our coaches. That's something that, you know, we don't want coaches just checking a box of doing things. You know, there's requirements, but we also want to provide meaningful professional development so that they become better coaches, just like we do for teachers, because they are teachers. And then continuing to work on sportsmanship. That's something that, you know, we're always working on. Some additional information, we have 225 coaches. That's one of them, Phil Wallen, who's a coach at Sumner Middle School. I could have probably got a better picture, but that's what Phil provided me, and I didn't get a chance to get it. But he basically coaches everything at Sumner Middle School, so you go out there, every season he's coaching something. So, and then all our coaches have to meet all kinds of requirements. You know, we run them through all the clearance process, and we have a list, and we present that to coaches, and so we're trying to make sure they understand what they need to do. And again, we have outstanding coaches and other staff members that fulfill our promise daily. Just some quick additional information, facility use. We continue to have a ton of demand for our use of our turf fields and gyms and facilities. And, you know, we have ways to prioritize. We give priorities based on our fee schedule. And we're moving to a new facilities management platform called FMX, and we hope that that will streamline all aspects of facility management, and again, streamline things and make it easier for all involved. And then athletic transportation, I want to give a shout out to Pam Knapp and our transportation department, because they continue to do an outstanding job of providing Sumner-Bonney Lake School District buses, which is huge because charter buses are super expensive. So she's done a great job of helping with that. Again, event management, we host a wide variety of events, and we have a lot of different people involved in there, and they all do a great job to make sure we have safe, positive events. Athletic trainers and nursing staff, again, we can contract with Olympic Sports and Spine so that they provide athletic training coverage for our athletes. And then our nurses, again, support that as well. And then I mentioned both of our high schools are now in the South Puget Sound League. Again, some upcoming items of note. I already mentioned the transition to FMX. This year, we have our Title IX Student Interest Survey. Every 3 years, we give that survey. And that drives what programs we look to add, because our students tell us these are the things that we need, these things we're good at, things we need to improve. So we want to continue to explore the possibility of streaming athletic contests in our stadiums and gyms so that everybody can have access. Oftentimes, elderly people and things can't get to our contests, and so that's a way for them to watch. And then one thing we added this year too is delegation training for coaches, where Corey Wiseman, our district nurse, and her team provide training at the beginning of each season and make sure that our coaches can provide care to those student athletes with life-threatening health conditions. Just some, items to brag about. Sumner High School football, you may have heard that they won their first state championship since 1977. And you met Jaden earlier, so they stole our thunder there. But again, one thing I want to point out is that would have never been possible if we wouldn't have the support of the board and, adding that program, because we didn't have it until 2 years ago. So again, and then we have a complete list of athletic accomplishments. So again, I just want to thank you. And that's it. Again, I just want to thank you for your support and for the opportunity to provide an update for the athletic department.
So thank you, Brian. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have a question, but your staff is fantastic. I had the opportunity to work with them for Beautify Bonnie Lake and all our events. They show up. They've got their teams, ladies and men and women there helping out with our event. Without them, we couldn't have accomplished all we've done in Bonnie Lake. So be sure and thank them. So we really have always appreciated their support.
Okay. Yes, thank you. And service is a big thing that we stress in the district. So.
I just have a question about the intramural sports. I think that's great because the more kids that we can have participating, how do they get to compete? Do they compete? How does that work? Do they travel along with the rest of the teams and then just have it?
It kind of varies by sport. Like, for example, volleyball, we have a ton of kids playing volleyball. So the coaches are already figuring out ways to get the kids competition, the intramural kids. So what they're going to do is this spring, they're going to have each school is going to have an event at their school. So they'll have an event at Mountain View, Lake Ridge, and Sumner Middle School, where they give the kids the opportunity to participate against other intramural teams. So we have to be creative. It just depends on the sport and kind of the schedule, but we try to get them, some competitive opportunities along with just skill building.
Great. One other question. I wasn't here 2 years ago when we added bowling, which is great, but is that something that is added based on, we have a student that's interested in participating, or does that come from, you said there's a questionnaire? How does that get brought up to attention to make sure that we are doing that?
Yeah, and the student interest surveys are big because we take a lot of stock in those because they're all the students in the schools. And so that was one of the items that they said that they would like the students, especially female students, said that they would like to add. And so we took that. And it's funny, I talked to Jaden's dad. He called me when we were considering it, and he kind of, promoted the program, and I told him we'd see what we could do. And so again, that's kind of a way it works. And the other thing is our coaches, they come to coaches and we work with our coaches, and coaches tell us, hey, they're looking to add something. That for perfect example is the Sumner High School flag football. They had one student that was really pushing it. And so, they worked on it and they got it added. So, because again, we're there to serve the kids and provide them with the programs that they want.
Yeah, I like to hear that it comes from, from the kids and
Yeah.
that they're, driving a lot of that. So that's
Yeah,
great.
for sure, because they're what it's all about. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Brian. That was a great presentation. I mean, I remember watching my daughter play volleyball at Sumner Middle School, and there were like 40 kids on the team, and there's only so many spots on the floor, and it just was this, you watched your kid rotate through and then go back and sit down. And it's like, wow, I left work early and rushed here, and then good job, you're on the court for, not that long. So seeing the intramurals, I think is phenomenal. And the Final Forms, as a parent who's navigated all the different systems that this district has, the Final Forms is great and an added improvement. I'm happy to see the facilities FMX program that you're putting in, because why not make it easier for the district to recoup some funds from rentals of our facilities and that sort of thing. And the last thing, I really appreciate the emergency training. One of my daughters teammates on the basketball team stop breathing at a game, and the fact that the emergency training is taking place saved her life. So
Yeah.
it happens, and I'm really thankful that you're doing that.
Well, the other thing, just, that having an AED, we have so many AEDs in this district, and again, it comes from support, and a lot of districts don't have it, and they save lives.
They
And
do.
that's more important than anything else we can talk about. So,
For sure.
yeah.
For sure. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right. We have another presentation on artificial intelligence. No? Oh, just a report. Sorry, information only. You're right. Sorry, this is my first time doing this. So, yeah. Yeah. I almost made it. I almost made it to the last thing on the agenda without. Yeah. Well, this is it's a challenge sometimes. But okay, so for information only, artificial intelligence board memo that you received in your packet, Michelle Lewis, Executive Director of Learning and Innovation, has prepared an update on the district's efforts to implement artificial intelligence technologies in both classroom and non-classroom settings within the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District for the board. All right, and that leads us to board discussion. Is there any board discussion tonight?
Just one of the things I want to say is that one of the policies that we looked at today is specifically, it's relatively new, and it's for helping with artificial intelligence. So, again, this is brand new territory that we're all navigating. And so that's one of the policies that was up for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've taken some training recently, obviously AI is here, and we need to be staying in front of it as a district to make sure that we're providing the students the best environment to learn AI, use it responsibly. And when I've taken some recent trainings on AI, I was actually surprised how much I'm already using it. And did you know that the spell correct in your email and your Outlook and your Word, that's AI. So we're already all using it, and it's something that's here to stay. So yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, did you
I'll
add
just
something?
say, add to that, when we went to WASDA, I think we all saw some of the AI stuff, and we all kind of talked about it there and said, gosh, we'll need to come back and, talk to Dr. Dent and talk about how we're going to implement that. They're way light years ahead of, I think they use Chat GPT or something to write that all, get it all way ahead of us. So.
Tom, you want to add something?
Yeah, I think it's a great, Dr. Dent knows I use it quite a bit in my business. I talk to it, what it should do. I suggest how my drawings for my signs and how to do projections that way. And it comes back and tells me, I can see it's going to memory that way for future conversations online. It's just amazing. I've used it for quite a while now, and it's improving all the time.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, and I'm glad the district's staying ahead of that type of thing. Yeah, everything ever evolving. Any other topics we need to discuss? Yeah.
Can I just put in a shameless plug for the community summit? Marilee is like staring right at me, sitting in front of me, but Thursday, March 13th, you don't want to miss this. Gene Sherritt is the keynote speaker, and he's phenomenal, but you do need to register. So there's a QR code. You can register. It's really simple. I think JB Smith has already registered, of course. So take her example and get registered. You'll love this night.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Unless there's anything else. All right. That brings us to announcement of next regular board meeting. The board meeting has been scheduled for Wednesday, March 19th, 2025, and will begin at 6 p.m. in Central Board Office. We are adjourned.